going betting weekly because we win. That is our motto. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. Don't give us the bird, don't give us your sting eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show. It's River sponsors. It's time to start. Enjoy the show.
Welcome in, everyone. Betting Weekly Live. It is Tuesday, the 9th of September. You are with Steve Wyss and Jack Wright. We continue our coverage of the international soccer break today with matches in Europe, in South America. As the end of the window comes to a close, Jack, how has this international break been treating you so far?
Good day, Steve. It's nice to be back on. Nice to see you again. And good day, everyone else who's already joined us. It has been mixed, I'll be brutally honest. I've had some really good days thinking, all right, I've cracked this international break and we're gonna smash it now. And then the next day, it's not so good. But yeah, generally speaking, yeah, it's probably the best way to say it. I reckon I'm level really over the course of it, over the bets that I've had. So yeah, today will obviously be an up day. We'll smash it out of the park with a little help from our friends.
Yeah, to be honest, I've actually done quite well in this international window. Been one of the better ones. Yesterday, there were a couple of traps, though. Like the chat have already said, Sweden were very, very disappointing yesterday, got to say. You can't lose 2-0 to Kosovo if you want to qualify for a World Cup and have something like 2 shots on target in the first 80 minutes. Nowhere near good enough, really, is it? At all in that regard. But there were some big winners on the sportsbook yesterday with the soccer. Italy-Israel, that was a bonkers game, wasn't it? Someone won with the over 5 Asian goal total, live bet, -179.
It'd been good to be on that pre-match.
Yeah, I would as well. $25,000, the biggest bet of the day.
Yeah.
Guess which continent, Jack?
Oh, Africa.
Yes, it was. Madagascar against Chad. Live bet over 2.5 goals at -128, and it won. There was a really interesting bet as well. $15 on Tunisia moneyline against Equatorial Guinea at 60-1, and that $15 bet won nearly $1,000. I did see that Tunisia have qualified for the World Cup again.
Yeah, you're happy with that. Look at the smile on your face. Look at
every single World Cup they qualified. I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing because, like I tweeted yesterday, that's the 3 under bets sorted for the World Cup already, isn't it? Because Tunisia are the same every single year. But I retweeted something today from Zealand, a good soccer poster on X. People might have heard of him. He said Tunisia have qualified for the World Cup again, just the second African nation to lock it up, continuing the enduring mystery of how in the world they may basically make it to every World Cup from a continent where no one else qualifies so regularly. They are incredible, Tunisia. Like they're absolute lock-in every single World Cup, but when they get to the World Cup, they never do anything. So it's got to be home advantage, hasn't it? Surely. But nevertheless, congratulations to Tunisia once again. Well done to them.
It sounds like England.
Just going through some of the comments here. Welcome in Leslie Matt Byron as well. Lots of questions about Bolivia, Brazil. We'll get to that later. Don't you worry. Byron, the Chicago Bears did them up. There was the biggest bet on the sportsbook yesterday was in that game. It was $85,000 bet on the Vikings money line, and it won. Just like it must have tailed Doug's dog on the betting zoo.
And who wouldn't?
Exactly. So, yeah, that's a huge bet, obviously, at -122. Congratulations to that particular bettor. And, yeah, congratulations to the pets as well on the first episode of the betting zoo. 2-0 they went.
The pressure's on the other. I know. The pressure's on the next round of pets first and foremost. We're going to have to keep them under control and a little bit calm going into the next videos. But the actual human being handicappers now under severe threat of being put on the subs bench with cricket coming in to take over on the EPL show.
I know.
I can have no complaints.
they're champing away at the bit. Dave Clark says Portugal over 1.5 today. We'll come to that. And Buelo Charles, good to see you. He is taking Serbia at draw double chance. Rick Haley's got a parlay Norway. Norway, Portugal parlay, or have you got goals involved with that as well? I'm not sure exactly what you mean there. Jeff Dozel, good to see you. That's a new name in chat. Sweden have done me twice in 2 games. They've been the one team this window been letting people down. Yeah. And it reminds me of kind of what Norway were maybe 3 or 4 years ago, where you looked at the team on paper, you think they should be doing amazing things. Yeah. I mean, that Sweden attack and midfield even.
The Isak thing's not helped them at all, has it? Like, he's obviously not had any soccer at the start of the season, so they've tried to ease him in. Was on the bench for the full game last week and came off the bench to do nothing this time round. That's not helped them at all. So they've paid the price a little bit for that fiasco. So see how heavily they pay by the end of the process. Of course, Greece were disappointing for us. We both quite liked Greece. Yeah. We had, didn't we? And we both quite liked Greece. It was really disappointing from them.
I think what happened with Greece was simply the experienced team in Denmark just knew how to get the job done in qualifying. And maybe they just kind of froze a little bit in Greece. You got to evolve again. And they will learn from that, I think. I still think Greece are going in the right direction. They will learn from that defeat. But I don't think anyone could have really picked Denmark based on what we've seen. Denmark weren't very good against Scotland. Really weren't. That was a deserved draw for Scotland. Yeah. So I don't think anyone could have really picked Denmark yesterday.
Still got a chance for some summer loving for Greece, though. Hey, coming up next.
I love it. AZ Flight said he took Ecuador plus a quarter a couple of days ago. We'll talk about that game later as well. But welcome into everyone else. Peter as well, FJ Football, Real Brendan King. Jack inviting himself on to the betting zoo. I can reveal Jack will be a guest on the betting zoo. He's going to be a guest on it, on the next 2 guests. And I can exclusively reveal that James Easton will be the next edition of the betting zoo. So any questions you want me to ask James and Jack about betting, about life, about everything, let us know. Let us know. What the big questions are going to come out. The corners were disappointing. Yeah, I am. There's a match I'm going to get on corners again today, though, FGA Football. So, that whole match was a letdown. Didn't go anything to the script. But we move on to another day. And we'll start with some World Cup qualifying games in Europe there. We've got 4 matches. We're not going to talk about all the games in detail today. There's just simply too many matches. I've not got a bet in this one. Armenia, Republic of Ireland. I tend to avoid Republic of Ireland games, actually, Jack. But you've got an interesting one here. With a couple of bets, actually. A player prop and also a match total.
Yeah, and this one obviously kicks off very soon, doesn't it? It kicks off in 50 minutes. Yeah. So we'll quickly rattle through this one just so that people can have the opportunity to get on it, should they decide to do so. But yeah, it's an interesting one because I think you look at this group and you would suggest that Portugal are probably going to be the well, obviously they're clear favourites. You would expect them to justify that and get the job done, which then leaves a battle between Hungary and Ireland for that second spot. And Ireland got out of jail, didn't they? Against Hungary, it looked like they were 2-0 down. They looked like they were dead in the water, and they managed to salvage a very, very, very late equaliser. But that could be crucial for them. So they'll take that to Armenia now to look to try and keep the pressure on Hungary, who have obviously got to play Portugal, and this is a big opportunity for Ireland. So I think, I don't think either Hungary or Ireland can afford to drop anything against Armenia. So first crack for Republic. It's going to be warm over there. That's the first thing to say. So that might have a little bit of an impact on it. But as I said, I don't think Ireland can go there and afford to drop anything. They've got to go and win. I think they will take that confidence from the tie with Hungary the weekend. And Armenia are in a real terrible state at this moment, aren't they? So you've got to fancy your chances against them. Lost their last 4 at home without scoring a goal. Expect them to sit deep here and look to try and nick something against Ireland, which should lead to Ireland having plenty of the ball. And I think that they'll get the job done. I wouldn't really want to be backing them at that price that you then flashed up there on the graphic as far as Ireland on like the money line. To be fair, my preferred way in is for Ireland to score over 1.5 goals, which is plus money. It's plus 100. Say Armenia haven't scored, but I still think Ireland would want at least a couple of goals in this potentially this could come down to goal difference, etc. So I think it will be important to get that done. And I say, of course, Armenia come into this having been absolutely hammered 5-0 by Portugal. So their defence is horrific. If you look at that and you go, well, maybe it was a bit of a kind of glossy scoreline for Portugal, the underlying data would suggest it certainly wasn't. 24 shots they had, 9 big chances they created. Their XG was 6.34. So if anything, it flattered Armenia, that particular one. And obviously, Republic of Ireland haven't got the firepower or the ability and talent that Portugal have got, but they do have an interesting striker, Evan Ferguson, of course, who was at Brighton. He's still a Brighton player, but he's on loan at Roma. Apparently started the campaign pretty well at Roma, despite not scoring yet. Scored against Hungary as well. So they have that. And obviously, Ida come off the bench to get that equaliser deep into added on time. So to have both their strikers on the score sheet already, I think is important. So when you look at the goals that Armenia have conceded and the teams they've lost to, the Republic have got to fancy their chances. Georgia scored 6 and 3 over the 2 legs of that Nations League playoff. Kosovo scored 5 against them. Montenegro managed to score 2 against them. Latvia and Faroe Islands both scored against them. Faroe Islands beat them, didn't they, as well? And Armenia conceded 2 or more goals in 8 of their last 10 internationals. So I think this is a chance of the Republic. And at plus money, I'd rather take that angle in than go on the minus money for them to win it. And a player prop to throw in there is Ryan Manning. I do like player props where a player is playing slightly out of position. And Ryan Manning normally is a left back, left wing back, but with the Republic playing a flat back 4, he plays more advanced, certainly as a left midfielder, possibly even as more of a left winger. He had 4 shots in that game against Hungary on the match day 1. 2 of those are on target. And looking at it, because of course there was a red card for Hungary, 2 of those shots and 1 on target were before that red card. So I'm happy to then take that as a fair read. He's great left foot. He's very good at set pieces as well. And I think with a low block, sometimes you like to look at players that will be coming onto the ball from deep and being able to take a strike from range. He fits that category. So I'm taking him for a shot on target at plus 185.
Yeah, Ryan Manning there, Jack's player prop for the Ireland game. And you're absolutely right. Armenia just seem to have gone to the pits, haven't they?
Yeah.
There was a time when they were dangerous, actually. But their results are alarmingly bad. Some comments here. Shane said there's a pitch report for this. Apparently, there was a J-Lo concert at the stadium a week ago. I was trying to think of some sort of pun there. But I think of a J-Lo song. But what's she doing out there anyway?
Making lots of money, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Look, her love don't cost a thing, but I tell you what, getting her to do a gig does. Thanks for setting me up, Steve.
There you go.
You one.
Nish, hello, good to you. Barak as well, lovely to see you. Portugal won there easily, so it shouldn't be an issue. That's the thing, they're that bad, aren't they? It shouldn't really be.
No, well, you look at the sides that played. Like I said, when you go Portugal, Ireland, you go, ooh. But when you're looking at the Faroes beating them, when you're looking at sides like, Georgia smashed them off the park twice. Kosovo scored 5 against them. Montenegro a couple. These sides are just scoring goals against them regularly. So yeah, I like that way in rather than the minus money on the win.
Absolutely. 30 degrees out there as well. FJ football, Kramaric to Croatia came in. He fancies Ferguson and Ireland to win today. I've
just looked at the lineup, Steve. I know this is something that we normally do on the Saturday show, but obviously we're in the position that the lineups come in. That does look like Ireland are playing a back 3, O'Brien, O'Shea and Collins. We'll have to wait and see on that. Ogbene, who's like absolute grease lightning, going back to that pun, but no, he's rapid, so quick. Looks like he's playing as a right wing back, and Manning does look like he's playing as a left wing back. But I expect those wing backs in that position that he's playing, him to be really, really advanced up there. So it's not put me off the bet at all. Just to confirm that.
Ferguson did score, didn't he, against Hungary, of course, and I think he hasn't scored for Roma yet, but I think he had an assist. So
he got man of the match, didn't he? In is it his debut or the second game?
He's again. It was.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a full 90 yet for Roma, but he's getting there. I think he's one to watch. I really do. I did back him in the Serie A top scorer market. That's probably a stretch, but individual games, I reckon he's definitely worth looking at for Roma. And he's
I look at him, Steve. I think he's quite a thick set player, isn't he? And I think where he's been on the bench a lot, he was at West Ham. That didn't work out for him because it was again one of those fit and starts kind of loan moves. You need when you're that kind of type of player. I think you need to be playing a lot of games, regular game time, just to keep in shape because you got that possibility of being just a little bit sluggish. So I think regular game time at Roma certainly going to help him out, and he's got that confidence of a good start at Roma and that goal against Hungary.
82% of the money's on Ireland, 90% of the tickets. I actually thought there'd be more, considering how bad their opponents are in the game. The next match, neither of us have got a bet I'm aware of, but Azerbaijan, Ukraine. Just a quick question, I suppose, Jack. Ukraine at -245. Would that be a yay or a nay for you?
I wouldn't back him at 245, but I've noted down -1.25 Asian handicap was -113 when I wrote it down. Whether that's still there or not, I'm not sure. But that would be where I'd go. Obviously, Azerbaijan have just sacked their manager, haven't they? Haven't been called cowards by their FA boss. So winless in 11 to start his reign and end his reign, of course, as well. So I think Ukraine will have enough in this one to win it, and I'm prepared to go with a better price on a slight handicap. Obviously, a goal margin win, you only lose half your stake, but 2 or more, and we're cashing the ticket at a nice -113. 10 of Azerbaijan's last 11 defeats have been by a 2 or more goal margin.
Yeah, they're another team pretty poor. Hungary against Portugal. I've not got a bet on this one, but I mean, I suppose one thing we've got to mention is Dominic Szoboszlai, who has scored 2 incredible free kicks recently. He's the favourite for Hungary to score, +360. When you got like Varga at +400, that just shows you how much he's kind of rated and respected in this market. But
talisman, mate, isn't he? He's their talisman. He's the guy. And I actually had a note down. Anyone who wants a specific bet, I've kind of tried to find something. Although they're not official, and we're not really going to delve in it too much detail. I've kind of noted something. And if anyone does want to ask a game what a lean would be, then I've got something for most of them. But I have gone for Szoboszlai in this one to score or assist, which was at +230 just before it came on air. And he's got an incredible. We call him a talisman, and that gets bandied around a little bit, but. His last 12 scoring appearances for Hungary, they're unbeaten. They've won 10 and drawn 2. So if he gets on the score sheet here, and as I've already mentioned when talking about that Ireland game, this is a huge one because I think if Hungary can nick a point or more off of Portugal, then that puts them in a real great spot in this group.
Yeah, and Szoboszlai, by the way, -108 we bet Rivers to have over 0.5 shots on target. For those who would be interested there. This is a game. There's quite a lot of love for Portugal in this chat, actually, right from the top of the chat today. Portugal win, goals as well. Look, they're the sort of team that don't usually let people down in qualifying, so I wouldn't want to really oppose them either.
A little bit of late love there from Simon M, though. I don't know who that is, but they've come in with Hungary.
Oh, there we go.
Saying they do enjoy the role as the big dog, and they certainly are tonight. So he has a sneaky feeling. Let's see if he's wise to listen to that.
FJ Football says Brian a dark horse to score. Shane says if both teams to score a run in the Armenia game, then Stephen Horse says Armenia don't score. I mean, I don't think you could really trust Armenia to score the way they've been playing. But I suppose if you are going to score a goal, home to Ireland is a possible. Don't know. I wouldn't bank on them the way they've been.
It's one of those. Are you going to follow your gut and you go, I've got a fan. They've got to end this run sooner rather than later. And as you say, this will be a better opportunity than most. So they've lost their last 4 at home without scoring. So it's got to come to an end at some point, you would assume. And as you say, it's as good a chance as they're going to get. But if you follow the stats, if you want to be stat-based, you would suggest that this would not be both teams to score and probably look elsewhere for that kind of bet.
Yeah, a bit of love there for Hungary from Simon M. They enjoy the role as the underdog. He's got a sneaky feeling. And Stephen Lynn, he's taking Hungary draw double chance as well.
Interesting.
Louis Silva, welcome into the chat. We are living in a great moment, Portugal, our most talented squad. So, yeah, there's a lot of love for Portugal. There's a little bit of love for Hungary now as well.
I thought we meant this show. I thought we was about Portugal, but then just said we are living in a great moment. We're here. In our presence, what a time to be alive. But no, he does mean that very talented Portugal squad. And I think you're right.
Shane asks us both, can you confirm how many times England have played Andorra in qualification in recent years? It does seem that every goddamn time that England-Andorra does take place.
And we still make a right fist of it every single time we play them as well. That's the problem.
Yeah, more on England in a minute. FCA football maximum draw, but Portugal on fire. What's the maximum? Yeah, okay. Nish is looking at Romania -1 as well. Torrential rains has Simon M. We're getting some weather forecasts on it today.
Beautiful.
Which, to be fair, I never looked at that
Budapest,
Budapest today. So that, let's see how that goes. Shall we be put out of our misery now, Jack, and talk about England? I've been trying to avoid it for. Actually, no. We'll do one more. We'll do France-Iceland first. We'll do France-Iceland. I'm just holding it off because, I've got to calm down.
Keep the crowd.
I've got to calm down about England. France versus Iceland. Iceland with a great win over the weekend. France as well, convincing. Minus 1667 on the money line, 10-1 for the draw. Iceland 28-1 with Bet Rivers. We've got a goal line minus 137 for over 3.5. France can be a bit indifferent in qualification. They can rack up the score sometimes, but sometimes also will just get the job done, Jack. And I'm wondering if this is the sort of night where it's one of those get the result types for France rather than go huge.
I was going to ask you, would you that? Sorry, I was going to say that under 3.5 goals, would that float your boat a little bit? It's tempting, isn't it? Because exactly what you said, that's how I see France as well. It's like you think 2-0, 3-0, get it done and move on.
Well, there's been a lot of criticism for the French FA, of course. Ousmane Dembele has been ruled out for 6 weeks for PSG, and Doué has been ruled out for a month, and they've got injured in training for the French national team. And bear in mind the teams that they faced in qualifying in this round were Iceland and Ukraine, was it? And there's a bit of criticism being put on Didier Deschamps' sort of training regimes that it's too intense, etc., etc. So I just wonder if maybe they get a goal or two and then just put the brakes on. Like, they don't want another scandal. They don't want another injury to sort of rock the boat, if you know what I mean. There'll be national team managers on the phone. Sorry, club managers on the phone saying, get my man off after an hour, please. Because so I think France and maybe under 4.5 goals here, if it's a backable price, could be worth a lot. I'm just playing around with the SGPs now. France to win an under 3.5, that's plus 116. France to win an under 4.5, that is at it's minus 205. So that's annoying, actually. So you have to basically make your mind up whether you think it's going to be 3 or 4-0. I think 2 or 3-0 here, though. So I think the France and under 3.5 play would be the one. It just, you have that 2-1 in your back pocket as well. So, but you've got a goal scorer that you like.
Yeah, only on the value side of things, really. Now, it's a player that I really, really like. I've talked about him a few times. I generally put him up in some way or other when we have these shows, normally, because like Bayern Munich playing on a Friday night and we're on that show, or we've got these international breaks, and that is Michael Olise. I think the last couple of times I put him up to assist, he scored, and when I put him up to score, he's assisted. So on that basis, what I'm about to say, bear that in mind. But I've gone with Olise to score tonight at plus 100. When you compare his, obviously Mbappe is a bigger goal scorer, but when you compare his odds to Mbappe's odds in this one, and Olise obviously got the opener, didn't he, against Ukraine last time out, I just think that's a really good price for a player in brilliant form. Player I really, really like. Super creative, of course, but has shown over the last year at Bayern especially, and in the start of this season for club and country, that he can now consistently score goals. So I think when you're in a game where we're obviously expecting France to win, well, if you're looking at the traders, they're probably 3 or 4 or score 3 or 4. Olise at plus 100 for me, a value play. I'll take that all day long. So yeah, he's absolutely a Rolls Royce player. It's a term that could get overused now, and I do use it a lot. But I think he is one of those players. Just looking at now, quite a few lacking Mbappe to score. First half goal as well is suggested. Dave Clark says France under 4.5 and Mbappe. That's his bet there. Byron says both teams score in France, Ireland.
is at plus 145. Interesting. He's trusting Ireland to get on the score sheet here. Van City, nice call on the Sweden game being a trap. Well, the problem is I lost on the game. Van City still. I didn't, but it was one of them. I just looked at it yesterday, and it did look suspiciously like a trap, like almost too good to be true. And I don't know, you can almost call it betting now sometimes, where you see something and it's either an unbelievable price that you've got to get a maximum bet on, or you're just suspicious. In that instance, it was the Star Wars game, wasn't it? It was the trap, as I call it. There isn't one on the card today that smells of that, thankfully, at this point in time. Van City's been cashing tickets in Africa there. And Switzerland, of course, they've been again under the radar, doing really well.
Very good, haven't they? Really good.
Really
They've got such good talent going forward. That's the thing. I think you've got sides that can score goals from all over those areas. These lesser teams and even the half decent teams haven't got the ability to cover all those options, cover all those bases. So yeah, they've done really well. I've certainly impressed. They're the ones that probably impressed me the most over this break.
Good morning to Corey from across the pond. Put down, what's your best bet today, Corey? Let us know. Nish likes France under 3 goals. Byron says Iceland is going to score. France go 3-0 up and then coast. Backdoor cover maybe for Iceland. I do see France in the last 20-25 minutes not being quite on it here if they are ahead, like I said. Okay, let's go on to the biggest game of the day, really, isn't it? There's going to be the most betting action, that's for sure. Serbia against England. England are the favourites at minus 117. Serbia plus 330. Thai plus 240. Where do we start with England? I mean, I actually defended England in the summer break, personally, Jack. When it was only 1-0 against Andorra, and then they lost to who was it? Senegal. First time they ever lost at home to African nation, wasn't it? And I feel like in June you could almost excuse the players, but I've got to be honest. I expected a bit more from England at the weekend, because goal difference does matter in these FIFA qualifying. You've seen all these other big nations racking up the score. England, it's just the way they're looking as well. It's really turgid. And look, there'll be those out there who say just the most important thing is the result. The most important thing for England is in the World Cup getting a run together. I don't think it bodes really, really well. I think the attitude absolutely stinks. I've seen quite a few suggesting Serbia are a bet today based on what we've seen from England. So, but then I look at England minus 117, right? Now, Serbia are no great shakes either, by the way. But I think they're all right. They're nothing special. If an England team was, looking half decent, everyone would be all on them here at minus 117. So which side do we need to get on, or do we just avoid the money line for this game?
I'm avoiding the money line. Yeah, I've gone down the route that these are very tight sides, and that's how I see this game playing out. I think we know with England, and when you look at it as well, I suppose you can say that you've got Mitrovic, you've got Vlahovic. As far as Serbia are concerned, there's chances there. But I think when you look at England, you know that sometimes they can just fire, even if it's for a half, and that's enough for them to score 3-4 goals. They can suddenly find a good performance out of them. They have got those individual players that if they all fire at the same time and knit it together, then it can happen. It's not looked like it, has it? I think the problem with England, what you talked about there, is that it was laboured, it was poor, it was turgid against sides that do sit with a real low block. But it's not as if England peppered 35, 40 shots. We've seen games recently with sides going up into the 30s and even touching 40 shots, where you go, well, they've done everything but score a hatful of goals. They've ended up winning 2 or 3, but it could have been 6 or 7. Keepers made loads of saves, it hit the bar, or, is one of those days. But England had 11 shots. That's incredible.
It's bad. It's lazy is what it is. It's basically, but this has been an attitude ever since the sort of the last third of the Southgate era as well. And I think a lot of it's the players. And the manager has to be blamed as well, because he's picking the squad at the end of the day. But I don't know what it is. It's an English 0-1. That wouldn't shock me here, would it? You? Let's be honest. That's what happens here. England will probably get a 1-0 win, right? Look awful. Everyone's moaning, but they get 3 points. And
I wouldn't even be surprised if Tuchel takes a 0-0. He's not at home. There's not going to be that pressure on to get a like any kind of positive performance. Yes, there's going to be the travelling fans, and England do always take a decent amount with them. But I think he'll go, well, we'll start with a point. We'll take a point, and yeah, we could nick it. We've got the talent to nick it. If we don't, make sure we don't concede. Make sure we don't lose. We'll have them back at Wembley, and they're going to qualify. There's absolutely no chance in the world they can't fail in that respect. So he says, yeah, stop laughing. But I think that they'll be confident to get Serbia at Wembley and win that game and top the group. And we've seen it in a couple of recent qualifiers. And you're right, England at the back end of that Southgate reign, it started to look, I think that phrase that people use is the badge or the shirt weighs heavy. And it looked like it was weighing heavy. And obviously these two nations met in the Euros, didn't they? And it was a real bit of a drab 1-0. England won it. Bellingham scored quite early and then nothing much happened. And that was the game, if you remember rightly, Harry Kane had 2 touches in the first half. And where all this talk about, about Kane playing. And I think up against Milenkovic, I think will be one of those that you go, that's a game that he will like, as in Milenkovic will like, and he'll look to nullify it. So for me, the bet I've gone with here, and it's probably my best bet of the day, I looked at unders, but just to keep a weird blip on side, I've gone with both teams to score no at -137, because I just think one or other, or potentially both of these defenses will keep it super, super tight and not concede. I think we've got 2 runners here to make this bet happen, that either the strike forces don't fire, which we've seen, or the defenses are so on top that they keep a clean sheet. Again, you said a 1-0. A 0-0 wouldn't surprise me here. It really wouldn't.
Well, how bad was the Euros game when these
Very.
teams? It was horrendous, wasn't it? Everyone was actually on the overs for that game, because every time you look at Serbia, and I think Serbia got this reputation from the World Cup actually in Qatar, where there were a couple of bonkers games that they had, or open good games. Since then, it feels like they've, despite the attacking ability they've got in the squad, they've been playing for sort of 0-0s and to keep it tight and 1-0 sort of territory. So
yeah,
that was the one. I did look at under 2.25. There's quite a lot of people saying under 2.25 Asian goals. The both team to score no might be the better bet.
They're very strong at home, aren't they? Serbia. I did get the stats down, and they've lost just one of the last 28 World Cup qualifiers at home. The last so that's going back to like effectively the start of the millennium. It's like just been a really, really, like, they've not played great talent all the time, but even so, it's one of those classifiers that we talk about as a tough place to go. And they've got the players to go in with that system, and they all know that England, obviously, they'll be very familiar with the English players, that they'll be conscious of not allowing them time and space, the likes of Eze, etc. But England missing Bellingham, missing Saka, missing Cole Palmer, missing those flair players, those players that can turn something out of nothing. Yes, we've still got some decent players in those forward areas, but Kane will be through the middle, and I think that will suit Serbia. And then it'll be a case of them looking to nullify those threats out wide and in the build-up. But yeah, I think a very tight game. So yeah, for me, that was the route I took as far as getting what I expect to be a low scorer on side. So both need to score no. So we can have both fail to score or one fail to score, and this lands.
93% of the money is on England, 94% of the tickets. No surprise there. England are always one of the most backsides in international soccer. It's as simple as that. Perhaps the most telling stat here is 68% of the over-under money is on under, which that is more unusual. So that just shows you what everyone's thinking about this game. It would be it would be a surprise if it was opened up into a goal fest, but it would be, I've seen some people bet au contrarian when, they might see this goal line at sort of 2.25 and think, do you know what, I'm just going to go the opposite here because of, everyone else is doing the opposite, if you know what I'm coming from. So anyway,
this goal scorer was on the pitch, I think. Like I said, I can see why, and obviously Nish is coming in saying that he likes both teams to score. Both sides have got goal scorers, so I can totally understand that argument. For me, I just having seen England especially play and how they're set up, and knowing Tuchel obviously as his time in the game and managing in England as well, and just how England have looked over the last couple of games. It's just not a lot there. Obviously, they've not conceded a goal in qualifying yet, nor have Serbia. And it's like, is it, as you say, is it that time where that all goes out the window and it becomes an absolute end-to-end goal fest, or is it going to follow type and be low scoring and turgid?
If you
and
have
as it's live on TV in the UK, it's likely to be
I was at my gym today and overheard a conversation with a couple of lads, and they were saying if England, I'm trying to rephrase it actually for a bit more PG here, but basically they were saying if England are that bad, they were going to switch to BBC Wales to watch something. Whatever's on there, I don't know. Are Wales playing a friendly or something? I don't know.
They are. They've got Canada.
Yeah, so that's how the English fans are thinking right now. We're not expecting anything special.
Yeah, I think the phrase is if this game was being played in your back garden, you'd close the blinds, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it wouldn't be great. If you had a free $50 play on the money line, would you go Serbia, draw, or England?
Tie.
Yeah, I think I'd join you actually, just on pure value. I don't think I could trust England at the moment, even though minus 117 isn't maybe the worst odds in the world for his English team.
It could look come this time tomorrow. You'll be on the show going, well, there you go, minus 117. What a price that was. But like so, as I sit here right now, I couldn't be back in England at minus money away from home, having seen what I've seen over the last few weeks.
That is fair enough. Okay, there was a couple of games. I've got plenty to say about the Norway game soon, but the two games there: Bosnia, Austria, Cyprus, Romania. Now, on the face of it, I think 2 away wins. But Simon M made a good point in chat about Cyprus, who played very, very well against Austria. Now, Cyprus hadn't really shown anything until then. But I'll tell you one thing, their actual club teams in Europe have had a blistering campaign. They've done really well. And I just wonder if that is a nation on the up. Perhaps, that loss to Austria, the match was actually suspended midway through it because of a sinkhole developing on the pitch. It ended 1-0 to Austria. I expected a bigger win. So, but Romania and Cyprus have played each other a lot recently, 3 times in the last 2 years, and Romania have always won by at least 2 goals. So, based on that, then I'm a little bit torn. But on the face of it, I'm looking at 2 away wins, Jack. What say you?
Yeah, my note down here was because of I wanted a better price. I've gone Romania to win to 0 at plus 155. That was what I plumped on that one. Someone just said the price is.
What about the Bosnia? Bosnia are a 100% record, but before this World Cup qualifying campaign, they were awful. They were in terrible shape. So they've suddenly managed to. But 2 of those wins are against San Marino, one against Cyprus, and the other one was a fluky 1-0 in Romania where they were completely outplayed. I still don't trust Bosnia. The one thing they've got behind them is points, though, and that can make the fight a lot harder. Austria should be winning this game for me, but minus 167, just where, to be honest, it's a little bit on the short side, perhaps.
Yeah. Austria, I've not quite been able to get on the right side of in recent fixtures as well, so that kind of puts me off a little bit. Bosnia, I normally like to fade all the time, but that's obviously been a costly. As you said, sometimes when you're trying to draw the form lines in these internationals, you're like, well, who have they played against? Yes, they've looked all right, but who have they beaten? And when they come up against someone decent, they suddenly fall apart again, and you look a bit silly having supported them. Could I back at Austria at minus 167? No, I couldn't. I actually was. This is the only one I've got down. I think is saying I've got a no bet in it, so I couldn't find anything that I liked. But goals maybe in that one, possibly so. But 2 sides that are in good form and in good shape as far as that's concerned. Someone said about Cyprus, by the way. I then checked the price. There's Cyprus gone close from plus $5 to plus 350. So yeah, they're currently now plus 370.
The thing with Romania, Cyprus here, it wasn't that long ago, less than a year ago. Cyprus 0, Romania 3 in the Nations League, right? And Romania are actually a bigger price today. Now, so
I quite like.
What has changed in 12 months? What has changed in 12 months with both sides? Maybe quite a lot. There's a lot of love for Cyprus in the chat here, and I think I'm not going to bet on this game now because I've been betting against Cyprus nearly all my betting life. So it would feel very, very unusual to bet on them. But I do wonder if they are turning a corner a bit, to be fair to them. And are Romania sinking down somewhat?
Well, Romania had a really good away record, didn't they? Their form on the road was really good. They got beat 2-1 at Austria, and I think they were 11 unbeaten going into that one. And I actually quite fancied them to get something from that, and they kind of got off to a really poor start. So if they get back to that kind of form, and also Cyprus, San Marino, was it they beat in the first game of the year? It was, I think, San Marino 2-0. But since then, 4 games without a win. Nations League campaign last time, they failed to score in a couple of their three home ties as well. So again, I just felt that plus 155 by adding that win to nil on Romania. I think that was a shout. But again, it's certainly not one that I'd be shouting from the rooftops about. That's for certain. I've got a feeling that we're going quickly back to that Bosnia game. Like I said, your gut starts to speak a little bit, and like I said, I'm quite fond of fading Bosnia. And then you look at the record and the fact that they're 100%, and you go, oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't be quite so strong on it. I just have that feeling that you see these kind of games, and then you kick yourself when Austria take a 2-goal lead after like 17 minutes. You can see them coming out and going, well, actually, we're loads better than you, and we're now going to show it. There you go. And the hopes of Bosnia suddenly gets blown out of the way. But
I'm starting to get a few weird vibes about both them two games, actually. I don't think I'm going to be heavily invested in those two, but a match I'm going to be really heavily invested in is this one here, Norway against Moldova. I can't contain myself, Jack. I'm going to be quick here. It's going to be my best bet of the day, and it is Norway on a -3 Asian handicap. I'm also taking -4 Asian handicap, so that's -122 and at plus 210 on the -4. Norway, it's in their hands here to qualify for the World Cup. All they have to do is win their 3 home games, the remaining, against Moldova, Estonia, and Israel, and then don't get beaten big by Italy away. And do you know what? They might even get themselves in a position where they can lose big away to Italy if they rack up the score. And look, the previous meeting was 5-0. It was genuine men against the boys. Moldova are horrible right now. They just conceded 4 goals to Israel at home. This is not a fair fight. You've got the likes of Haaland and that against this team. If Norway, the only thing I'm concerned about is now they're just thinking get 3 wins at home. But I don't think they're going to take the foot off the gas here, Norway. It's a simple mismatch. And I'll be honest, this reminds me a bit of a few weeks ago when I betted on the Bodo Glimt game. Look, -122 for a -3 Asian handicap. That's just a fair price. I'm not getting mad value here, Jack, but I'm bloody confident in them. So that is why I'm confident in them to win by at least 3 goals. So -3. I'm just going to ladder to the -4. I'm not going beyond that because I see this being probably 4-0, 5-0, possibly 6. You got a bet for this game, haven't you?
Steve, do you know what? I don't think I've ever seen you so confident or so excited. The last time you were this excited, you just ordered the meat feast at that Portuguese restaurant that we went to in Camden. And that proved to be a very good decision. So I'm absolutely right with you on this one. I agree. Norway, 4, 5, 6, possibly even more. Who knows? Because as you say, Moldova are there for the taking. Norway have been scoring goals for fun. Moldova shipped them for fun. And if Norway are going to score 4, 5, or 6, who's going to score them? Yeah, I know they've got 2 or 3 players that can chip in, but surely like Erling Haaland. Not often I like backing a player to score 2 or more goals at plus 105, but that is my bet tonight. Erling Haaland to score at least 2 goals in this one at plus 105. He scored in his last 7 successive, hasn't he, for Norway, which is a joint record for him. So he'll be looking to beat that. We all know he loves to stat pad as well. What an opportunity for him to go and rack up 3, 4 goals. He's a couple of goals off the top goal scorers at the moment in qualifying. You know he'll want to be at the very top of that list. So this is a brilliant opportunity, arguably his best opportunity remaining now in qualifying to go and score. Would it surprise you to see him scoring 3, 4 goals in this one, like he does? So yeah, it's for me. Agree with you completely on Norway winning and winning handsomely. And I'm going to take that main man up top to have a field day.
Yeah, and AZ Flank said Sherlock to score as well. He might start. Yeah. He might start on both, actually. I think it's going to be one of them nights where Norway do deliver. They have let us down in the past, but not recently. They've been a team that have been really good for us recently. And I think
I did note it down. What 23 goals is it they've scored in their last 7 fixtures. All those games Haaland scored in. So they've been racking up goals, scores, and 4s and 5s regularly, haven't they, over the last recent
Just
time?
that
And was
1-0 win at
against Italy.
Estonia, which was sort of at the end of a tiring season, and they just need to get a result. But then they're at home now again, and Moldova are dreadful. They're just dreadful. So yeah, it's going to be a Norway blowout for me. We've got South American qualifying as well. There's a couple of games we've got bets in. I'm going to start with you here, Jack, and you are going to like the 2 matches that really matter here for qualifying are Bolivia against Brazil, which I'm going to come up to in a minute, and then Venezuela, Colombia. The other matches, there's nothing at stake apart from pride, and there's plenty of pride in South America, but you know, the 2 matches that really matter here: Venezuela, Colombia, plus 160 for Venezuela. They're desperate to get in the World Cup. A win, and they'll get into the qualifying position. The intercontinental playoffs, I think it is.
Interfederation, yeah.
You're going to back Venezuela in a certain form, Jack.
Well, I'm not going to take the credit for this because a lot of people have been baying for the main man, the South American king. You know, he's been gone too long, but Nathan Joyce is going to be here in spirit. And I gave him a call this afternoon and said, "What is your best bet for the South American slate tonight?" He was due to be on the show, wasn't he? But unfortunately, wasn't able to make it. So I'm the deputy. But I certainly am going to try and step on his toes here. South American is his absolute forte, as we saw with the last show where he smashed it out of the park. So what's he got now? The phone a friend round came in handy for me. And he has gone for Venezuela to win either half, which is minus 134. I think that might have been changed a little bit, actually. It might be minus 120 something now. But either way, that's a play
win
for him.
One half.
Either half, yeah. You go across to the specials on there, and you'll see that in there that to win either half at that price. If you're able to check that, Steve, just do it because I'm feeling it has just slightly changed. And yeah, the scenery around that is that this is a must win if Bolivia beat Brazil. At the moment, they're in that spot, as you say, for the Interfederation playoff spot. And therefore, they have that in their own hands. They win this, then they've got that in the bag. And will have a chance to qualify for the World Cup. They've never been to the World Cup before. They're the only CONMEBOL outfit or nation that's not been at the World Cup. So it's a massive, massive game for them. The key element for this is the fact that Colombia have obviously already qualified. They qualified last week, so they haven't got anything to play for. They might well take the foot off the gas a little bit, but when you're up against a side that have got everything to play for, then you would expect Venezuela to give this a good shot to win outright. But as you say, Nathan has just watered it down slightly. Just all they need to do is win either of the halves, and that this bet cashes. So they've got a strong record at home, unbeaten in the last 8 World Cup qualifiers on home soil. And Colombia aren't the best travellers. They're winless in the last 5 road trips. So, yeah, that's the bet from Nathan. His best bet from those games that were going on tonight. Venezuela to win either half at what was minus 134.
Interesting. I mean, Nathan did brilliantly on the show last week. So,
yes,
yeah, he did say keep an eye out for the Venezuela game and the Bolivia game, but Venezuela to win either half. And then we go to Bolivia against Brazil. And I mean, there's a lot of interest in this game, a lot of talk about it. It's for those who don't know, we banged on about this for the last, year on Betting Weekly Live. Bolivia home matches are played at El Alto, 4,150 meters altitude. That's 13,000 feet. It's a clearly big advantage. They've got to win and hope that Venezuela don't, basically. And do you know what? I'm kind of losing a bit of discipline here, Jack. I'm going to back Bolivia straight on the money line, plus 260. Wow. Not a massive bet by any means, but I'm going to take them because I'm not even thinking about what is a fair price here, etc., etc., etc. Because if this match is played on neutral territory at a normal height, Brazil are a million miles better. They just are. But they've got nothing to play for anymore. It's the second match in this international window. Some of their players might not even see the field or might even go home. I don't know. You know, a lot of these lads won't want to go to Bolivia. Or if they do travel, they're not going to be maybe as fired up for it. This is a matter, genuinely, for life and death for Bolivia players. They could be absolute heroes if they qualify. Yeah. The World Cup. They've got to win this game because I think, draw does nothing. So that's why I'm going to take money line rather than draw no bet. plus 250 now, by the way. They have been backed in, Bolivia. I think they could get close to like plus 220 come kickoff, maybe even plus 200. But I like everything over in this game. I mean, I got a funny feeling. I think goals overs could be worth looking at. Corners, definitely. And the corner line's 8.5 here, and I've got to go over 8.5 corners for two reasons. Because I think Brazil themselves, if they've got anything about them, are very capable of racking up quite a lot of corners in this fixture. But Bolivia shoot so much at home. The wild shooters, some of their shot stats, the matches go through the roof. I mean, we're talking long-range efforts. They get deflections.
Yes.
I can't help myself, Jack. 8.5 corner line. But Bolivia plus 250 money line. This is either the most stupid bet I've had in a while, or it's going to look really, really good. Do you have an opinion?
I can't argue with everything you've said there. The reason I think it's a low corner line as well. I'm frantically just trying to find out. I've actually had a bet on a player to have shots in this for Bolivia, and it is Carmelo Algranales Anez. At minus 110 to have 2 or more shots is what I got, and I'm just quickly trying to find out what that is now. But yeah, I agree with you as far as the game state is concerned. This is one that Brazil have got no interest in. And when you're up against a side who are tough enough to play at away from home anyway, then who are completely fired up with everything to play for, then that screams to me that you want to be siding with them. The only thing going against it is if news comes through about Venezuela potentially being 2 or 3 goals up, that might dilute it. But I don't think that will be an issue, really, to be fair, as far as I would be with you. I would be with you on everything you've said.
Simon M has come up with an interesting quote from Ancelotti, of course, Brazil manager. They're going to evaluate fatigue. And I do think that, it's a sort of get Brazil. Look, the South American, you can't just give up a game. The fans will demand it. But if this is the one fixture, I think they could be excused. They have a mixed record here, Brazil, down the years. But, it's very, very difficult when you are going into a venue which is 4,000 meters high. They've needed oxygen masks before here. Brazil have. I'm kind of going on a little bit of gut feel. I do think plus 250 is appealing because of the motivation angle as well.
I think whenever a manager comes out and says we have to assess the fatigue and this, that, and that's basically him going, just to let you know, we're going to rotate the whole living daylights out of this one, and don't worry too much about it. So good quote there, and worth reiterating. As you say, once news starts to break behind closed doors about the side and so on, then that price that you talked about there will be constricted quite readily.
Crooker says double chance for Argentina or Brazil. What's better? I'm not sure either. Is that good here? Ecuador may well beat Argentina. It's a tough one. That probably low.
Someone
scoring.
say like Messi's not involved in this one.
I mean, Ecuador don't concede many goals, do they? But I mean, I would go that one because that could be a draw over the two. I could play out into like a damp squib 0-0, the Argentina game, maybe last round. But lots of bets today, Jack. So do remind us what your best bet of the day would be.
Oh, my best bet's going to be both teams to score no in England.
Yeah, Serbia versus England. My best bet is that -3 Asian handicap on Norway against Moldova. Quick reminder before we go, betting weekly newsletters, please do sign up. The insider picks will be coming back for the weekend. Different format actually this time. We're going to have the very best bets from each handicapper on certain Premier League games. So we might end up with like 2 or 3 on a certain fixture. All the games will be covered. Euro games too. Do sign up for free. Incidentally, actually, on the newsletter pick for the England game, we had Lewis Jones on Mondays. I think his bet was exactly 2 or 3 goals, which is an interesting one. I know. I think Lewis has sometimes had the theory with England games, if they get criticised and stuff, then they sometimes come out with a bang with a few more goals. I mean, good luck with that particular play, and good luck to everyone, whatever you are taking today.
Onana's goalkeeping coach has come out with an interesting question. The answer is simple. It is yes.
Where's the question? I'm trying to find the question actually.
Do Bolivia lose their heads if they're losing?
Oh, crikey. I mean, this is why I said this match is over everything. Possibly goals, corners, for those who still, bet on it, cards as well, foul shots, market, whatever. It could develop into a barnstormingly bonkers affair. Hope it does. We all want to see a last-minute Bolivian winner, don't we? Imagine that. But I actually think Venezuela would have the better chance in the playoff than Bolivia would. I think, I know Venezuela are the better squad. Bolivia, nearly all of their results are at home, and it's, they're not very good away from home. So, but best of luck to both teams, obviously, in the playoffs there, to try and get the playoff position. And Jack, me and you going to be back on Friday on Betting Weekly Live, Saturday too, and next week
we're having something of a channel takeover this week. Incredible.
I know, right? I'm actually not on tomorrow. Dan Roebuck will be with you on the show, and I can tell you now he will be with Lewis Jones tomorrow. I think so. We can look forward to that. Of course, we've got Betting Weekly Tennis Live coming up in an hour with the Rory Giwani and Tim Dennis, and then we've got Betting Weekly Hardball and the Betting Weekly Fast Break to come later on. Jack, it was a pleasure as always, and I'll see you again soon.
You will. Cheers all.
Take care all. Remember to gamble responsibly, and see you next time on Betting Weekly Live. I'll see you on Thursday with Simon Holt. Take care.